I sleep on my stomach and I get sleep paralysis. I start to feel a creepy demon thing slowly crawling up the bed towards me. The mattress feels like it's being pressed down by something's legs and arms. Then the bedsheet starts to slowly get pulled down my back, and I'm lying there unable to move or see what's happening. Every single time it happens, I manage to convince myself that this time it's actually real and I'm not asleep. Eventually, I'll manage to blink myself awake, and the blankets are always halfway down my body. Heck no, a ghost is trying to strip me? That's not okay. That's assault. But what's up, guys? Thanks so much for coming back for another creepy video. As always, don't forget to subscribe, be a part of the Socially Awkward family, and follow me on Instagram. Links are down below. And comment down below if you have ever seen a ghost. But yeah, today we are reacting to scary stories to give your friends nightmares for the rest of their life. You're welcome. And yeah, let's get back to it. I was a security coordinator for a large electric company and had access to like 80 plus of the facility's CCTV infrastructures. I was doing a maintenance check on some random train stations at like 3 a.m., panned a camera as far to the right as possible to check that it was functioning, and saw this dude on all fours eating a deer in the middle of the tracks. Watched him for like 10 minutes and went to get the other guy on shift. When I came back, the dude was gone. Rewound it, and the dude stopped munching on the carcass, wiped the gore off his face, and walked into the woods like he didn't have a care in the world. Why did you keep watching him for like 10 minutes? Were you into it? You should have immediately went and got your other security guy. I mean, hey, some people are into medium rare steaks and burgers, and then there's people that are just into dead meat on the side of the road. Preference. My wife had a miscarriage at 20 weeks. Aww, I'm sorry. It was a girl and we were going to name her Samantha. A couple days later, my wife hears our 2-year-old talking in her room in the middle of the night. My wife goes up and asks her what she's doing, and she says, "I'm talking to Samantha. She's on the ceiling." No, she's not. Little girl, you better cut that out. I ain't having that in this house. I will give you up to adoption if you keep up this demon crap. I'm kidding, I won't do that. Unless she gets possessed by something, then that's a whole nother story. I get night terrors sometimes, or sleep paralysis. Sometimes when people would talk to me when I'm in that half-sleep phase and I responded, I would always respond with plural pronouns. We're almost up, or we're still in bed. That sort of thing. When people then ask me why I'm using those pronouns, I'll say something like, "We're all together," or "My friends are here." Are they? Girl, no. You crazy. I'm sorry, but we wouldn't be friends anymore. I'm not playing with that. You want to have demon friends? Okay, I'm just not going to be a part of this weird group. I'd start to see people, or figures maybe, right at the edge of my peripheral. They'd look like the people I knew, but their faces were always a little bit blurry or very severe looking, like they had been awake for a few days straight. The creepy thing though is they'd always start in my peripheral vision and then began to loom closer. The next time I was home, I told my dad about my weird half dreams. He got very quiet and told me he got them too. Almost every night if he didn't go right to sleep. That's why they got NyQuil and Tylenol PM. You knock out quick. Ain't no demons gonna mess with you and your NyQuil. My grandma had a neighbor friend who unfortunately lost her husband when she was young, about 40 or so years ago. This woman was so upset because for a couple years after his death, she couldn't dream of her husband. For some reason, it really bothered her that she couldn't experience a dream with him in it. It's almost like she wanted it for comfort. Some time passes and this woman is preparing to sell her house and move closer to her kids. Suddenly, she gets her wish. She starts dreaming and her husband is in them. In every one, her husband wakes her up, sits up on the bed, and starts speaking to her. He basically speaks gibberish and she can't understand a word he says. A few days before she's about to move out for good, she goes to bed and dreams of him again. The dream is the same except she understands one word he says. He grabs her in the dream and repeatedly says rafters. Almost seeming panicked, she wakes up rattled but returns to sleep. The next day, as she's finishing up packing in the basement, she looks up and sees the rafters. She remembers the dream and is compelled to reach into them. She does and pulls out thousands of dollars worth of World War II bonds her husband had purchased without her knowledge. She swears he never told her about them. So he appeared in her dream to tell her so she wouldn't leave all those bonds behind when she sold the house. Yeah, if my woman did that, I'd be like, girl, you had one job. I swear if we could get divorced in heaven, we would. You ain't leaving my money behind. My parents' bedroom is at the front of the house, immediately at the front door. My mom goes out maybe once a year, and one night she came in at maybe 2 a.m. from her annual girls' night out. She took her shoes off and headed upstairs to me in my siblings' bedrooms to say goodnight. My dad sleeps like a log, but for some unexplained reason, he was aware that the front door opened for a second time. It took him a few seconds to make it to the front door, and my mom was halfway up the stairs, but a random man was standing inside the house. Seeing my dad's shocked face, he said, "The house a couple doors down is being robbed. I was trying to tell someone and then ran outside and down the street." So, one of the robbers came to warn you? Okay. I was in a major car accident over a decade ago. My car was hit by another car in such a way where I lost control of the car and somehow went into a full circle on the highway. I T-boned a Jersey wall, completely destroying it and cracking the next two in line, and I bounced off that onto an off-ramp with my side of the car facing traffic. Ooh, that's scary. I'm about to exhale when I hear, "Hey kid, when I start counting, you have 8 seconds to move your car or you're going to be hit by an 18-wheeler. Do you understand? 8, 7, 6. Girl, you better move." The voice didn't have to tell me twice. I threw my car into drive and got onto the shoulder. At 1, an 18-wheeler drove by the spot my car was parked on. I should have died, according to the cops surveying the crash site later, but I walked away with a few bruises and I needed a root canal a few days later. I probably imagined the voice, but dang, I'm believing in something otherworldly. That was straight up an angel that saved your life. I went to Argentina a few years ago to go to my mom's side of the family. I had tons of fun in Argentina except for when I slept at night. The guest room was right next to the storage room, which had this strange, creepy doll that my mom got as a kid. I knew something was off about it. Dude, it's Annabelle. Fast forward to about 2:30 a.m., and I hear this loud thump in the storage room. Another thump follows. This threw me and my mom awake, and we went to see what was going on. The doll somehow got out of the chair and hit the door. I couldn't sleep for the rest of the night. That is literally Annabelle throwing itself at the door trying to get to you to murder you. Get out of Argentina. We have a picture of my wife's late grandpa on our glass table. My then 2-year-old, who was named for him, walks past it one day, points to him and says, "I met him before I was born. He was really nice to me." It's a really nice story, but it's creepy. Aw, your grandpa went to visit your baby in your tummy. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Grandpa, don't be going inside of my stomach. I lost my mom to cancer a couple years back. Well, a couple of years after, my brothers and I were visiting my dad in their house over the December holidays. It's a small place, so since there wasn't much sleeping room, I, being the youngest, was to sleep in the lounge area. So in their kitchen, on the fridge, they have this little Pikachu magnet. And when you press its belly, it says Pikachu. So in the middle of the night, everyone asleep, this thing starts going off like crazy. At first, I thought it's gotta be my brothers playing some trick on me. So I sit up straight and look over to the fridge, but there's nobody there. I go up to check it out, but it stops. I still feel groggy, so I just brush it off and he goes back to bed. And then it starts going off again. This time though, as I sit up, there's the white figure of a woman wearing a nightgown standing at the foot of my bed. One just like the one my mom had, and an icy cold hanging in the air, like almost burning my face cold. She looks at me and in a confused voice, "This is my house, right?" Which makes sense because she was very confused during her last couple of months. Her personality deteriorated very fast. I completely froze, but at that moment I hear footsteps from the hallway side and she vanishes. As I'm sitting there trying to process what just happened, my brother walks into the room, turns on the light, and sees me pale as a ghost. I apparently asked him if he and his wife were trolling me, but he actually got up to investigate the sound too, and his wife was asleep. Aw, your mom came to visit! That's so sad. It was about midnight and I was chilling in my room, watching some show with the volume on low as one does when it's nighttime and the house is quiet. I'm minding my own business when I get this sudden chill up my spine and my stomach drops. Before I can even be like, that was weird, I hear this piercing loud sound of a woman screaming with her mouth closed. Only the sound is both directly in my ear and also coming from the living room directly outside my bedroom door. It lasts for maybe 2 seconds before the house becomes silent again. At this point, my heart is beating out of my chest and I'm sweaty, and despite my hand now being on the doorknob, I'm wrestling between the ideas of, this is how people die, you dummy, and I have to make sure it wasn't my mom or sister. Yeah, that's tough. Every man for himself. So family wins out and I begrudgingly open the door to the dark. A few seconds later, both my brother and sister come out of their rooms having the same wide-eyed look. After seeing that our parents are fast asleep, all doors and windows are locked, the street is empty, and everything is unchanged, we confirm we all heard the exact same thing, a disembodied scream coming from the center of the living room and directly next to us, despite us being on opposite ends of the house at the time. Still no explanation for it, and it's not the only weird thing to happen in this house. Well, girl, it's time to grab some goldfish, a snack pack, and move out. Get your juice box and backpack and go. I don't know why people deal with this stuff. I would run away so quick. And that is it for scary stories to give your friends nightmares for the rest of their life. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, don't forget to subscribe, be a part of the Socially Awkward family, and follow me on Instagram. Links are down below. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you creepy people next time.